ladies and gentlemen, to the RDFNL Footy Show. We're back for 2016, bigger and better than ever, and we will be here every week throughout the 2016 season. Shaun Kelly's my name. You thought you'd got rid of me. Rumours of my demise greatly exaggerated, let me tell you that. Still around, still alive and kicking, and still chipping in from time to time with the RDFL. And I'll be here in the host seat for the RDFL Footy Show every week. Joining me is the man, the myth, the legend, the great one as it comes to the RDFL media department, Chris Yeend. Yeendy, the award-winning man. He is absolutely fantastic and going great guns, mate. Welcome to the RDFL Footy Show once again for another year.
Thanks, mate. I thought we tried to get rid of you after a while, but you're like a bad too. Just can't bugger off, mate. But no, we're glad to have you back, mate. And you've been doing some great work as well with your business on deck media. So
yeah, it's all just coming around. I'm not going to plug it too much. Obviously, I've been told just to keep things rolling a little bit. So you will see some plug at the end, though. But apart from that, what we're going to do with the format this year is that we're going to talk about 3 talking points from around the RDFL each week from the previous week's action, and then we'll preview the coming week's games. Try and get a short package for you. You don't want to go too long. We know that your attention is precious, and we want to keep it right where it is every week. Netball fans aren't going to get much love during this show, but we've got a special surprise for the netball fans.
Really?
We've got an RDFL netball show, fully 100% dedicated netball show that will be going on this year and will be starting next week as well. So every month, the RDFL netball show will be up and about. Myself and Kim Bailey chairing that one, and that will be absolutely ripping. So that's just the preamble before the netballers come to us at the end and say, why don't you talk about netball today? You've got your own show. Hold on, it's coming. It's going to be great. First, sorry, mate.
Usually they sort of try and take over our show when they get the opportunity, don't they?
Correct, so that's why we've given them their own show. First thing we're going to talk about, the season launch. Talking point number 1, great way to start 2016. Last week at Melton Toyota, as it always is, the big boy, Wowee Bristleman Brian Taylor hosting the show, as he's done very, very well for the last few years. Good to see Jared Ruffhead and Lizzie Watson from the Vixens and from the Australian Diamonds there as well. And mate, pretty good start to the season.
Certainly a great start. It's one of my favourite days of the year personally, because there's only 2 events where you can get around and mingle with everyone, and that was it. Unfortunately, I didn't get too close to the bar. Just too many great people around.
Good thing.
Always a good thing. But one of my favourite highlights of the night was just seeing someone walk around in a Gisborne Giants jumper. That was just perfect.
Yeah, it was really good. Obviously, we saw it here on the RDFL website a couple of months back and in your beautiful publication as well, all about the Greater Gisborne Giants and how they've been up and about. So it's good to see the Gisborne Giants in action, and we're very much awaiting their presence in the junior draw for the RDFL. Number 2, the start of the season last week, our second talking point for this week, and the Gilbert Gordon Oval is back and in use and looking absolutely fantastic as the Hawks, resplendent in their full Hawk jumper on the weekend too, looked very, very sharp. Took on the Tigers from Lansfield, and it was Lansfield 13-8-86, defeating Woodend Heskett 9-15-69. Briefly summarise this game for us, Chris, because great to see Woodend Heskett back up and about, great to see the GGO up and about, but Lansfield too good on the day.
Lansfield were too good on the day, but the old saying goes, bad kicking is bad footy. Now, the second term, the Hawks went out, they were ahead by 4 points a quarter time, they kicked 7 points in a row, ball goes down the other end, Lansfield's first foray inside the forward 50, goal. Bang, and that basically...
I believe it was 10 behinds for the quarter or something like that for Woodend Heskett, and Lansfield had 5 scoring shots, kicked 3 goals too or something.
Well, it actually extended into the third term. Woodend Heskett missed 12 times in a row, so they had the chance to sort of hit the front earlier on in the third term. And unfortunately it wasn't to be, but I know the coach, Ross Slight, he was down there. The whole club is talking about that particular quarter, so they can go back and reassess that. But the Tigers, just too good. John Kent kicked 6 goals, kicked one of the great goals I've seen in a while in the last quarter. Kicked it out of the air about 25 metres out from goal. Absolute ripper. That was basically game, set, match early in the 4th term. Great
to see the RDFL's leading goal kicker from last year starting the season with a bang. Speaking of goals, they're in abundance right behind us on Saturday night last week as talking point number 3. The Melton Central's forward line. Doesn't it look different with Matty Gilmore down there this year? 5 goals on the weekend, and another team that were inaccurate, but it didn't matter because they still won by over 100 points.
Well, it's all about just getting that confidence back into the team. A new year, and new exciting things there for the Centrals. I know they recruited very well in the off-season, and just a good exhibition for them as well, getting lots of supporters down for Saturday night football.
Great to see the opening of the Arnolds Creek Reserve as well too. Basically brand new grounds that are getting featured this week. Moving forward now, the rest of round one, the rolling fixture, of course, still 4 games, and you'll be able to watch each one of these games if you play your cards right, because they're all at different times throughout the weekend. Starting on Friday night at Clark Oval in Sunbury as well, going onto the big ground and really good ground for night footy, and Rupertswood taking on Wallen at the Clark Oval. This should be a ripper, Yeend.
It's going to be fantastic. Both sides recruited very well during the off-season, and they're looking forward to really pushing forward. I know the Sharks, they've got Kev Fitzgerald there, one of the absolute great legends of the local region with coaching. He might have his job cut out for him though, because the Pies, they're just going on with a little bit of confidence, just simmering behind the scenes.
Yeah, heard good things about Wallen this week. Your tip?
I'll have to go with the Sharks.
Yeah, Rupo for me as well. I reckon Steve Burlack's going to be huge this year in the Rupo jumper, but a very close game on tipping. Saturday afternoon at Bloomdale Oval, Diggers Rest taking on Riddle. This is match of the round any time of the year. This is going to be an absolute bottler.
It is, mate, and I think it's about the 3rd or 4th time in a row the two teams have faced off in round one. And a little bit of history here, because new Bombers coach Jamie Elliott did coach them to a grand final, so there's a bit of history there between the two sides. Really looking forward to seeing the Burrows. They're highly favoured to play quite well this year.
Yep.
One of the flag favourites. The Bombers, without Troy Scobell, I don't think, the great work that Scobes has done, I think the Bombers have still got a good list to match with them. They're
going under the radar a bit this pre-season, from what I've heard as well. Riddle, some really quality ins into their list. I reckon they'll give Diggers Rest a shake, but Diggers Rest at home, they're very, very hard to tip against.
How much are they going to miss Matt Darby though, the Bombers?
Yeah,
centre-half back last year, in the team of the year, centre-half forward by tradition, now over the Essendon in the VFL, so that's certainly a big thing there. Hopefully they can fill his absence.
Your tip?
I'm going to have to go with the Bombers.
So the Bombers for you, Diggers Rest for me. Saturday night at Romsey Park. Romsey taking on the Sunbury Kangaroos, and this will be an interesting game because obviously a lot of people talking about the departures from Romsey over the off-season. A lot of people talking about the departures from the Sunbury Kangaroos, but what you've still got left there is 2 pretty good footy teams that will be fighting tooth and nail to get a round 1 win.
I think the big argument going around the Redbacks at the moment is they had a big clean out of their list from the 14 premiership side. They've got the same thing here, and they went on to win the premiership last year. So we're not used. It's not different to what we used to see, but they've just got a lot of younger players in the team, a lot of good local guys.
Yep.
Sunbury Kangaroos very much the same. I've seen them train a couple of times. They've got a lot of fitness on the go at the moment. I think Romsey, on the other hand, they've played a few more practice games just to try and get the drills in, whereas Sunbury have focused more on the track.
A couple of teams with new coaches as well this year. Be interesting to see how they go.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Jared Dixon, synonymous with the Sunbury Kangaroos and the RDFNL in the past, and crossed over from Keilor, and Andrew Bubb. Well, he's an assistant coach to Dean Holmes last year, so we'll get to see just exactly who was the brains trust in the premiership win on the coach's box.
I don't think I've tipped against Romsey at home in the last 2.5 seasons, and I'm not going to start now.
Yeah, I honestly think probably the Sunbury Kangaroos will just get the job done. I love the boys at both clubs there, but I just think just probably a little bit more experience.
Yeah, good to see that we're not always agreeing as well. This is going to be a ripper on Sunday as well. Geez, there's some good fixturing in round 1 this year. Broadford taking on Macedon at the Harley Hammond Reserve. Broadford, of course, with their fantastic finals run last year and tipped to even go better in season 2016. But Macedon's recruiting has been first rate. The Macedon Cats this year. Not the Gisborne Bulldogs, even though it seems to be to a lot of people that they may resemble the Gisborne Footy Club of recent years. But great to see, obviously, Noxie, Summerfield, Timmy Waters coming over and playing with Macedon this year as well. So it's Freudian slip once again. This will be a very good game of football, though. It
certainly will be a very good game. I know the Cats, their practice match against Kyneton on the weekend, I think they were comprehensively belted over the course, so they need to... Jeff Andrews and the team really need to assess their performance there. They treat it like a practice match.
Having said that, though, I know Macedon have played opposition higher ranked. They've played major league teams all throughout their practice match campaign. They've obviously played against Kyneton, they played against the Melton Bloods the other week as well, and lost to the Melton Bloods. But practice matches, you don't look at the scoreboard. All you're looking at is structures, how people are playing, and getting the feel for that. So you start looking at the scoreboard come 2 p.m. on Saturday. Sunday for these guys.
Exactly. Well, that's what they certainly need to focus on. I know Matt Knox, obviously returning from a shoulder injury that he sustained last year. I know he was just looking forward to getting out there. I don't think he kicked a goal on the weekend, but for him, it was more just getting the physical feel of being in the game of footy. But obviously the Roos, they're going to be flying.
Yep.
New coach, or new coaches.
New coaching structure.
Yeah, new coaching structure.
Skip's been there for a while, but obviously Dean Helmer's coming over as well this year.
And a few new recruits as well, which is going to make things interesting. Yeah. So, look, I think it's going to be a bottler of a game, and we'll see which way it goes.
Broadford for me.
I'm going to have to go to the Cats, unfortunately.
Good. We're going against each other in every round this week, which is exactly what we want. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on the RDFL Footy Show. For the first time this year, we'll be back next week. Look, Wednesdays each week is our aim for the RDFL Footy Show. This year, getting it up on the website to give you plenty of time to digest everything leading into the weekend. Yendi, great to have you back, mate. Great to have you back on the airwaves as well. And hopefully, speaking of the airwaves, we will have some Highlands FM football throughout the season.
Absolutely. With the reports going on at the moment, hopefully we get Highlands FM back on the air. Maybe around Anzac Day, we can see that. It's a big buzz for itself.
Fantastic stuff. Thanks for coming for you, Yendi. We'll see you again next week on the RDFL Footy Show.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you again next week on the RDFL Footy Show right here, www.rdfl.org.au.